Hello guys, this is the Gaming Revolution here, and we are so close now until the release of the Black Ops Cold War 1.11 update, which features Firebase Z. Treyarch have released the patch notes for the update, and I will leave a link to Treyarch's blog post down in this video's description if you want to go ahead and read it for yourself. As I won't be going over all of the multiplayer stuff, this video will just be focusing on the zombies changes. So without further ado, let's get right into them. So first of all, obviously Firebase Z is being added with the new update, and this will include the Tombstone perk, which will also be added into the Wonder Fizz on the Machina. There will also be an endless and round 20 playlist for Firebase Z for all players. The big piece of information is that players will now be able to complete the full Omega Intel collection in the Machina. So the final piece of intel will be collectible, so you can go ahead and get that calling card. It is annoying that they've only just fixed this, considering people aren't going to be wanting to go back to D Machina now that Firebase Z is out. So they have addressed an issue on D Machina that rarely position players outside of the map when teleporting from the Dark Ether. They have also added the brand new Express multiplayer map into Onslaught, which is currently only available for PlayStation players and will be available for Xbox and PC in under a year's time. So the featured playlists are Firebase Z Endless, Firebase Z Round 20, and Dead Ups Arcade Solo Advanced Start, which is a brand new mode, and of course they have also added an Onslaught Express playlist for PS5 and PS4. They have addressed an issue with Quick Revive, which prevented Quick Revive from reducing the time it takes to regenerate to full health. They have added the Napalm Strike as a support streak into zombies as well as the artillery. They've made some changes to self-revive. The self-revive will now only drop if a player in the game can equip it. So this was an annoying thing. You would have self-revives drop even when you couldn't pick it up. In all honesty, they should have just let you stack them. They have also capped the maximum amount of self-revives that can drop in a game to the total number of players in the game, which means that you can only get one self-revive per game to drop from the zombies. Obviously you will be able to buy it with salvage too, but this will make the game a tad bit harder. They've made some changes to the sentry turret, so they've addressed an issue that allowed duplicating the sentry turret support item. Now they've made some huge weapons changes. So for assault rifles, they've increased the critical hit damage on all assault rifles, and they've increased the max ammo stock on all assault rifles. For submachine guns, they've increased the critical hit damage on all SMGs and increased the max ammo stock on all SMGs. For shotguns, they've increased the base damage on the Street Sweeper shotgun and increased the range of the Street Sweeper shotgun. Now for blueprints, they've addressed an issue that prevented attachments from appearing on the Western Juice weapon blueprint. So yeah, those are some big weapon balance changes, and they're going to make assault rifles and SMGs and shotguns a whole lot better. So yeah, those are some huge weapon balancing changes that are going to make assault rifles and SMGs a lot better, even though they were already pretty good, to be fair. And the Street Sweeper shotgun is also going to be better. People complain that, you know, it was kind of weak. They have also made some changes to armor. So level 1 armor will now replace the first armor shard drop in a game when no players have armor. In terms of ammo mods, they've buffed Cryo Freeze, so they've reduced the Cryo Freeze cooldown from 3 seconds to 1 second to make it a more dependable method of slowing enemies. So yeah, Cryo Freeze isn't that good for actually killing, but it does slow them quite a lot. Since it's going to reset every 1 second, you're going to be able to freeze all of the zombies. Now in terms of challenges, they've added a new Requiem Advanced category of challenges for future editions. They've added the first set of 6 new Requiem Advanced challenges, Firebase Z Report, and they've added new Dark Ops challenges for Firebase Z. So there might not be any achievements for Firebase Z because none have leaked yet, and usually they always leak before a new map releases. So I'm wondering if because the DLC is now free, there might not be any achievements. So maybe there is only going to be a Dark Ops for completing the Easter egg. So there are some changes to Dead Ups Arcade 3. So like I said earlier, there is a new mode, which is New Advanced Start. And it has a new private playlist available for solo players. So it allows players to start at their highest arena checkpoints reached in solo mode. No stats or challenges are recorded, but achievements can be completed, including Reunited with Fidelina. So yeah, this is going to make it a lot easier to get that achievement, although it won't count on the leaderboards, and you won't be able to earn Dark Ops challenges. But Dead Ups Arcade 3 is very difficult, so this means that a lot more people are going to be able to get that achievement. Now in terms of gameplay changes, they've added a new pickup item, which is Divine Shield Potion. It grants players a Divine Shield buff that allows players to absorb 1 damage event, and it lasts for 30 minutes. They've added new key spawn locations, added to the high road tunnel route. They've added a 1.5 second damage shield on player whilst in first person when damage occurs. They've made slight adjustments to the multiplayer progression. Auto life donation now begins automatically after round 64. The player with the highest lives to spare will now donate to downed teammates with a cooldown of 120 seconds. They've addressed an issue where the player's shield was active even though effect was not visible. They've addressed an issue that prevented extra lives from being rewarded at expected score thresholds. Various gameplay bug fixes related to the fated chicken disappearance, control bindings when exiting vehicles, unwanted deaths associated with traps, invisible electrical poles, missile turrets killing players, etc. In terms of changes to the enemies and friendly AI, they've greatly reduced spider melee range. They've removed skeleton boss from arena spawning. They've removed demons from arena spawning. They've removed megaton melee distance. They've removed megaton arena spawn rate after round 64. They've reduced megaton health in arena. The megaton orb weapon is no longer a one-hit kill in arena. After round 64, enemy target selection behavior is now weighted entirely towards proximity. They've increased friendly skeleton horde health, enemy quantity, time duration, and weapon damage. They've addressed an issue where melee damage caused by a friendly skeleton guardian was not registering against enemies. They've addressed an issue where zombies could speed up while under the clock time slowdown effect. Addressed an issue where explosive damage versus spider/meatball enemies did not register correctly. They've addressed an issue where spider enemies would not show up on radar. They've addressed an issue that allowed the gladiator marauder enemy to melee kill the player when it wasn't facing the appropriate direction. They've addressed an issue where the Magua was not dropping loot when killed. Now in terms of the fate changes, the Divine Chalice fated players now earn extra life 37.5% faster than standard players at every 125,000 points. The Divine Chalice fated users now respawn with temporary vitality buff. The Divine Shielded fated players now respawn with a Divine Shield buff. After round 64, when a Divine Shield fated player picks up a nuke drop, all players will now be granted a nuke. The Golden Chicken associated with Friendship Fate now periodically produces eggs in arena. After round 64, the Golden Chicken associated with Friendship will now have permanently upgraded weaponry. They've addressed an issue that could prevent players from collecting a fate in the Room of Fate when the room timed out, i.e. grabbing a fate rock with less than 4 seconds before the room expired. In terms of visual changes, they've added lighting in the Room of Fate above fate rock pedestals 5 and 6. They've addressed an issue with various particle effects having visibility issues. They've addressed an issue that could prevent players selecting character skins from showing up correctly. They've addressed an issue that could prevent the player's selected character skin from showing up correctly. In terms of weapon changes, they've addressed an issue with the shotgun pickup that could cause it to initially begin firing slowly before speeding up. In terms of stability changes, they've added various crash fixes. In terms of general fixes, they've added various exploit fixes. They've added new camera mode, extra high. They've addressed an issue where the player was not able to use the flashlight in first person. They've addressed an issue with some collision in the water temple arena. They've addressed an issue in split screen mode where players would enter the wild in shared viewport mode. In terms of Onslaught changes for PS4 and PS5, Onslaught Express playlist is now available like I said earlier. There is now spaced out special enemy spawns, and they've added additional enemies to the mode from Firebase Z. So I guess there will now be the Russian Mangler and also the Mimic Zombie from Firebase Z. So that's going to change up the mode quite a bit. In terms of stability changes, they've added various crash fixes. In terms of general changes, the party leader is no longer required to have Dead Upside K3 installed for their party to join for other zombies game modes. They've addressed an issue that caused zombies to maintain a slowdown debuff forever if it ended while they were mantling, and that is everything. They did also say that double XP will be coming to the game on all platforms on February the 5th through to February the 8th, and PlayStation operators will receive an extra full day of double XP on February the 4th. So anyways, thank you for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're not for latest and greatest Call of Duty news and information. So anyways, thank you for watching, and bye.